Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me today I have Ben.
Hello.
And Eddie.
Hello.
I was really tempted to flip the order there, but probably a good thing not to.
No, because you see flames then. Yeah, then the whole show just fucks up.
Yeah, that would be a catalyst for everything going wrong.
Yeah.
Last week we had Eddie hungover, but he's back properly this week, so I'm expecting big things.
How do you know I'm not hungover?
I don't know that for sure.
Because he's still drunk. That's how we know.
There you go. Well, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, and this isn't great, I shouldn't promote this, but when I was so hungover, I had a couple ciders, and I felt a lot better. A lot better. So, there you go, kids. If you're hungover, drink more alcohol.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Talk to Frank.
That's what they say. So.
That's what they say.
Surely that's just prolonging the inevitable.
No. I think if anything, Ben, it just evens it out. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, a soft landing.
A soft landing.
Yeah.
And you're right, it'll prolong it, but it'll just be smoother.
Smooth. Yeah, love it.
This is in general concerning discussion. Right. Anyway, before we get to the news, the new releases, and what we've been playing, we should probably mention that someone replied to our feature from last week, didn't they?
Yeah, we had a mention on Twitter. So Callum Craig said that LA Noire and Sleeping Dogs.
LA Noire came up a lot on all the forums.
Yeah.
It's a great call, isn't it?
You either hate it or love it. I didn't care for it at all.
I played it on Switch, actually.
What?
Because it was during that time when everything was coming out on Switch, and whenever it was a release from another console, it was like, oh, I must buy it because it's on Switch. It was one of those. Yeah. It was one of those. Yeah, well, there we go. So did play. I didn't actually think that much of it. The thing that I didn't really like about LA Noire was that they had the whole big thing about facial recognition and like telling whether people were lying and actually interrogating. I couldn't tell shit.
No.
Couldn't tell shit.
It may be. I'll tell you what. That we're onto something here. Maybe that's why a sequel is needed, because now we have the technology.
Yep. Okay. Because had so many games with good facial. Do you remember Detroit? Is it Become Human? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Just the animations in that, the facial animations, just so fucking good.
Just like was it Mass Effect Andromeda? That
has got some very good stuff, much better than the first three.
It's a very controversial facial expression.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, the
eyes especially, I think.
The first three were renowned for that as well, though. There's a fantastic situation where Shepard's head used to spin round in conversation as well. That was my favourite one.
Realism. That's what we like.
It's a shame about Andromeda, isn't it? Because it got a really bad rap when it came out. I'm not sure it completely was finished because it had a lot of storylines that were that at the end, and it probably, if you went and played it now, I haven't played it. If you went and played it, it probably would be fine.
Yes. Well, I hear a lot of people doing so on Mass Effect forums and saying that, but they seem to be the same people who replay the original trilogy like every year, though, so I suppose it's to a level. I was also really interested to see Sleeping Dogs mentioned, and it ties in quite nicely with our feature this week, because I never played it, but I very much would have liked to.
Yeah, it was one of those at the time where it came out and it was like, ooh, that looks interesting, but wasn't quite interesting enough to spend the money on.
Yes, yeah. To be honest, I think I was still playing Skyrim in 2012, so... Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
And
every other year since.
Yeah, probably my first playthrough still at some insane level. But yes, the rest of our feature this week is franchises we'd like to try but never have, or those we feel we should have given more of a chance. Sleeping Dogs isn't a franchise, but it would qualify for that for me.
Yeah,
so,
it's a franchise. One game.
All, exactly. It could become one if it gets a sequel. So that's all still to come. But before we get to the news, Ben, you were also flirting with another podcast this week, weren't you?
Oh, I was flirting, hardcore flirting. Donnie did his first. I don't know.
I like you embraced it.
First podcast episode for Pure Dead PlayStation. So he started a podcast which is out every 2 weeks. The first episode was released on last Saturday. So Pure Dead PlayStation, go check that one out. It was good for an opportunity for me to be on a podcast which wasn't Xbox or Xbox slanted like we've been accused of, and was actually had a PlayStation focus. So it's pretty good.
Fuck, that must be an expensive podcast.
Yeah, I would assume it has to be. It's for people high earners, I think. PlayStation
Yes,
owners.
high earners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So high earners listen to that podcast, is what we're saying. Yeah, nice.
Fantastic. There's some meta marketing going on. Right. I feel now it's time to crack on with the quick news.
Right, let's go. Tears of the Kingdom, there's a new Zelda game. It's the UK's biggest boxed game of the year so far. Probably to the surprise of no one. I'm not sure.
No one. Yeah.
Not sure what other big game could have rivaled it, but it is.
Hogwarts.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Actually, that is the other big one, isn't it?
So that drop off the radar completely. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually that was multi-plat, so this is even more impressive. So actually, this turned from a relatively unimpressive news story to an impressive one.
With one word from Eddie.
Well done, Eddie. Good stuff. Next one, Call of Duty. They're getting a new game this year, and it's reportedly going to be Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 2 obviously came out the end of last year. It's releasing on the 10th of November. They usually take 2 years between direct sequels, between like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and they release another Call of Duty in the meantime. But it looks like they're going all in on Modern Warfare this time. And there's also a Warzone 2 map coming out later this year, Eddie. So,
well, I'm not going to get excited because although the new Warzone map is good, it's not grand, is it? It's really quite small. And
I think it's... Oh, you mean Ashika?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, but I think this new one is a large map.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. And I was watching Dr. Distro the other day, and he was going mental about the map. And in a weird way, I did agree with him. He was like, "There's nothing interesting about fighting in the desert. It's all one color." And I did massively agree with him. I remember like playing in Battlefield on skyscrapers and stuff, and being in awe of the environment. I just hope they change it. Yeah,
I'm also in agreement with the desert type feel. I wish it were different, and they go another way with it. That's why I like Sheikah to a degree, because it is different.
It is different, yeah.
But that desert stuff is a bit overplayed, despite it being in my view a very, very good map. So we'll see what happens. Next one, the Asus ROG or ROG or whatever you want to call it, the Ally, the handheld that we talked about last week. So the top spec version of it is now, the price has been revealed, it's £699. I think last week we said it was likely to be €800. But that's for the top spec one. That's the one you'll likely be interested in, and it's also the one that's getting the release first. They will release another one which is more competitive in price with the Steam Deck, I think. But by all accounts of the reviews, this version seems to be the one people are most interested in. People are calling it the Steam Deck 1.5, maybe the Steam Deck 2.0, who knows. It is getting decent reviews, so check it out if you're interested in that one. Cool. Now one for Donnie, even though he's not here. Goodbye Volcano High. That game at some presentation that we saw. Was it the last the last Nintendo Direct, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was that.
I think so.
That was the really, sorry, Donnie, stupid one, right?
Yeah. Stupid Donnie game. It's been he's not here to defend himself.
I did not say that, Donnie.
It's been delayed to August, so there you go. Yeah. Talking about delays.
No.
Did you see this, Pete? Yes. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Well, there was a message put on Twitter that it's been delayed out of the first half of 2023, which was, I think, the planned release schedule. No time scale yet. I think they alluded to it just being a lot bigger than they ever thought it was going to be. Who knows? Maybe Christmas, maybe early 2024. But at the very least, Pete, this does exist.
Apparently. Again, until it's in your hand, don't believe it. But, I mean, I kind of assumed it was getting delayed because end of last year, I think they said it was going to be...
To the shock of no one.
Early 2023. and we've got to this point in the year and there's still no date released, you're like, yeah, it's not coming. Like,
Yeah, because that is a game that's going to get a 6-month run up in marketing and everything, surely.
you'd think so at this stage, wouldn't you?
Because it's one of those games, it's an indie game which actually could headline like a main showcase.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that big.
Yeah.
So
And incredibly well thought of. So yeah, we'll see that in 2024 sometime.
yeah, I expect so. FIFA 23 is coming to EA Play and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on the 16th of May. So that is tomorrow, Tuesday. Yesterday, if you're listening today. Eddie, you gonna play FIFA 23?
I was very interested to hear this news story. Mainly because, do you think this is a good move? Like, I know what they're thinking here is they've got all the money because every FIFA fan wants to buy it day one and play it and take the week off work to play it. But do you not think it's an unnecessary risk? Because there will be some people, maybe a lot of people, especially as FIFA players are normally quite casual gamers, going, well, I'll just play the old FIFA until it comes out on Game Pass next.
They did it last year, though, Eddie, and the year before, I think.
Oh, did they? Oh, right.
I think they've done it for the past 2 years, and I actually think from their perspective, you know, you get the hardcore FIFA players that get it day one or get it 4 days early or whatever, pay their £100. They get it all in an Ultimate Team. They're buying packs, all this stuff.
I guess everyone's playing Ultimate Team, aren't they? Yeah.
They're mopping up the people that
Yes.
actually download this and go, oh, I might play Ultimate Team. Because
I forgot about Ultimate Team. I actually played FIFA a few weeks ago, actually, for quite a while, actually. I didn't talk about it on the podcast because no one wants to fucking hear about me playing FIFA. But, yeah, I don't think so. I think there's no point playing the Ultimate Team this late in the year. It'll just be an absolute slugfest, so...
Yeah, you have to go into playing Ultimate Team
And
with the idea of enjoying it.
Yeah, and nothing really changes in the games. In fact, you know what's so funny? I wrote some notes on the old... Because I've never played FIFA 22 before. I played it for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
Right, okay.
But there is actually a really cool, like, beginning tutorial where it's like a whole movie, and it's got loads of people. It's got Lewis Hamilton, Anthony Joshua, David Beckham, and it is like an amazing tutorial. I mean, no one wants to play it because everyone who plays FIFA now knows how to fucking play it. But still, it was a nice addition if you've never played FIFA before.
So for not many people then. But...
So no one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apart from people who have just come out of the womb.
Right.
Even they've got residual knowledge of it. Yeah.
Yes.
From previous generations.
Passed down in
through
people's
the
DNA.
fallopian tubes, yes.
Yeah, that's how you pass knowledge on these days. Last one. Deviation Games is reportedly laying off 90 of its 100 to 150 odd strong workforce. It was working on a new IP for PlayStation because there was a partnership announced, I think, in 2021. I haven't made a note of that year, but I think it was 2021, which was potentially a first-person shooter because the two founders were ex-COD devs. So one of those then left last year. And yeah, 90 been laid off. So they weren't owned by Sony, but they had this partnership, and I think the expectation amongst some analysts and whatever was that this could be another Bluepoint situation where they might eventually get purchased like Bluepoint did after doing Demon's Souls. But Sony seemed to have cancelled the game, so maybe milestones were missed, or maybe the myriad of live service games that they're putting out, you know, not all of them are going to make it to shelves.
Yeah.
Could be one that bit the dust there. So.
90 of 100 to 150 though. That's starting again levels, isn't it? Yeah.
That is game gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or game scaled back or moved on to another project or something.
Yes.
I think that's finished whatever they're doing and hopefully looking to bring on new projects. I think that's what that bloody percentage is.
Yes, yeah, that must be it. Yeah, that's probably the game that we're working on is gone. We've gone back to skeleton core
Bare
staff.
bones, yeah.
And we will now
hopefully
take on
get a
other
contract.
projects.
Yes, and
Yes,
then we'll be
yeah.
higher again, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly sounds like it. But that comes off the back of the news of last week with Sony and Pixel. I mean, this wasn't... I don't think Deviation Games, again, I think I'm right in saying this, they're not a Sony studio. It's just they were partnered with Sony to bring this new IP to market. So, but yeah, that's the quick news there.
Yes, indeed. And we're on to the main news then. And Eddie, it's your week to lead us off.
Yes, let's start with the big one. We heard it today, didn't we?
Today, yeah.
Or yesterday, or the day before, or next week if you're listening to it in 5 days' time. This is the European Commission approves the Activision deal.
Who'd have thunk it?
That's it. That's all you got. Right, let me go full read mode. The European Commission has been one of the 3 major regulators standing in the way of the deal, alongside the US Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, and the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, the latter of which dramatically blocked the deal last month, as we talked about last week, I think it was. I don't know. They all blended.
We talked about it a million times.
Yeah, so, yeah. We've talked about it every week, but only last week did we talk about it. Saying no. In Brussels, however, it's better news for Microsoft after a couple of concessions ended up winning over EU regulators. This includes a free license for European gamers to stream any Activision Blizzard game they own via any cloud gaming service of their choice, and a free license for cloud gaming services in the region to host said games on their platform. In a statement on the decision, Microsoft said this commitment would apply globally. Company President Brad Smith claimed it would empower millions of consumers worldwide to play these games on any device they choose. The EU ultimately dismissed its earlier concerns around the deal's potential to harm rival console makers like Sony and Nintendo, and game subscription services such as PlayStation Plus. Ultimately, the EU decided Microsoft was unlikely to pull Activision Blizzard games like Call of Duty from rival consoles, as it would see its profits suffer as a result, an argument Microsoft itself repeatedly put forward. I mean, we'll fucking see about that in the future. On cloud streaming, so the reason why the CMA said no, the EU found the deal was unlikely to change much of the market, as the market is still very limited today, as we've said in last week's podcast. Plug. Indeed.
I mean, it was like a month ago, but that's fine.
Was it?
It was at least a couple of weeks.
Honestly,
probably 3 or 4. Time is just blurring, and you were.
I think this is a wake up call where I need to stop drinking, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I mean, it should be.
Nah, it's not going to be. In fact, let me go get a beer. Anyway, indeed, the EU said it believes the deal could actually promote its growth. The UK CMA has disagreed with the EU's decision, and in a rebuttal to the news, said it risked letting Microsoft rule the cloud gaming market for the next decade. Microsoft's proposals, accepted by the European Commission today, would allow Microsoft to set the terms and conditions for this market to the next 100 years.
Sorry?
No, 10 years. Fucking hell, it feels 100.
100 years?
That would be awesome. They would replace a free, open and competitive market with one subject to ongoing regulation on the games Microsoft sells, the platforms to which it sells them, and the conditions of sale. What do we think?
Can we take a moment to salute Eurogamer there for that article? Thank you very much, Eurogamer, for providing us with the words there.
Very well done, Eurogamer. Thank you.
All right, if we're going to go down this route, Ben, I did the podcast prep on my lunch break, and you didn't do the news by then. That's bad prep by you. So I literally couldn't do the news story until.
I admit I do all the prep. And yes, it did slip a few hours, and so you couldn't do it 6 hours before the podcast.
I noticed, Ben, when I got onto the blank document and I put in the quick news, I can see you've deleted it. I did put quick news, Ben is very bad at podcast prep. But you deleted that one.
It was quite good, because on that document, like when you're all in the doc, you can just type conversations to each other.
Yes, you can. You can, yeah.
My rebuttal was give me 10. You'll have some news. But yeah, okay, on to this story.
Thank you.
So I think this is, I suppose it's big news because the European Commission say yes. Obviously the CMA are still the hold up to the deal, and that's going to take, they're going to have to appeal that and see what happens there. And I think from what we've heard, it's not a straight appeal process. It's not just, we don't like your outcome. You have to give it an appeal through the process or something is incorrect. And then you got the FTC. So who knows what will happen? It just means, I think, if this had gone south today, then the deal would have been dead in the water. I think now it's got some life, but it's still like, I mean, we don't know, do we? We're just reading the news like everyone else.
It's a tricky one. I mean, what I do like is, and obviously we've mentioned this before, the fact that the EU actually seem to have a realistic approach on the cloud gaming bit, which is less than 5% of the market. Like, if even that's just against console gaming. It shouldn't be what's holding up this deal. Like,
it seems very odd that you can hold up a deal based on like a theoretical market, and I know that is the point. That is the point. You're supposed to be forward looking, and so it isn't mind blowing that you can hold up a deal because of that. But when a market is so fledgling, it's so it's hatchling in this respect. It's like there's nothing there. Nobody's screaming to play a game on cloud. You know,
if anything, it's still in the egg bin.
Exactly. I mean, Google tried to do it. They just fucking left.
Yes.
That says a lot for it. Yeah. And it's almost like because Microsoft are pushing that market and actually leading that market, they would be being punished for that. I think beyond this, we've said before that the biggest thing for me would be that I want competition in the console space, and by not allowing this deal to go through, I do think the console space would be in a better competitive place with this going through. That would be my opinion. But I don't know there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it continues, and we'll find out from the FTC later, I'm sure, won't we? So
and that's in the summer, I think so. It's in the summer. I don't have a specific date, but I read somewhere earlier it just said summer.
That's a long fucking time for them to do their investigation.
Yeah, these deals are pretty big. They take a while.
I think there's so many commissions. There's like 16 different regulators around the world or something that had to say yes, and I think we're down to the final couple.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I think this will drag on, and we'll still be talking about it into the end of the year. So whether it goes through or not doesn't. It's basically whatever.
Thank God it's replaced NFTs as the repeated news story.
Oh yeah, but I don't really care whether it goes through. I just want Microsoft to be competitive because I've said this numerous times recently. If Microsoft are not competitive, it doesn't matter if your favorite console is Betty PlayStation or Switch or whatever. Like, if Microsoft are not competitive, console gaming will not be as progressive as it could be.
Yeah, competition drives things forward. We know this.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Well, across the way, their rivals have been making deals of their own, haven't they?
Quietly making deals.
Yeah, or I should say, this is a rumoured deal between PlayStation and Konami. So this came from Jez Corden, a primarily Xbox-focused journalist who has apparently leaked things accurately before. Ben, I feel you'll know the name if that's true.
Yeah, like he's on Twitter. He's Windows Central.
That's
what it is.
Okay, fantastic. Well, yes, apparently he has stated that Sony have landed a deal with Konami for exclusivity on future Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and maybe even Castlevania games. Now,
maybe even.
We already know one of these is true with Silent Hill 2 remake, is confirmed as a PlayStation 5 console exclusive for the first year. Although it is also coming to PC, but they're not direct competitors, I suppose, are they? And Konami did reveal numerous Silent Hill projects alongside this, with little known at the moment. So it could be that those are also PlayStation 5 console exclusives. However, we have absolutely nothing confirmed regarding Metal Gear or Castlevania. We have heard before now, I think it was 2021, where Konami said they were working on reviving those two franchises, but we haven't seen anything since, really. I remember there was something from VJC about a reimagining of Castlevania, which I, for one, would think would be brilliant, but we still don't know if it's ever going to exist or not.
Yeah.
So, and then a couple of days ago, we also had Special Nick, who's a co-host of Xbox Era podcast, claiming that a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater would be on PlayStation's next showcase. So there's a couple of rumours here linking together on it. And Special Nick did also say there might be some sort of exclusivity on it as well. So what do we think?
You could definitely see it.
Hot air, or do we think it's real?
Well, I think if Jez Corden is reliable.
Yeah.
It would, he's known and reliable, and if he says it, then it's probably more true than not, or there's something in there. It would make sense, the Metal Gear kind of series being revamped. I talked about that on Pure Dead PlayStation actually, when the guys did. The guys informed me really that Metal Gear Solid 3, that would be a good place to start, because that's actually started the timeline. So that's why that's being highly kind of rumoured, I think, as well. So, the thing is, Xbox have been focused on the Activision deal, and PlayStation have just been quietly working away in the background and doing what they do best, and getting some of these console exclusives, because it's a good way to get some to make your console special by having these games. I mean, like Silent Hill, Metal Gear, they would sell consoles, wouldn't they?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Metal Gear is quite a big franchise for me, actually. So, and of course, eFootball. Let's not. Yeah.
There are third-party franchises that can be console sellers, like Final Fantasy 16. Let's say Final Fantasy 16 comes out and it's like a 90s rated game. It's like really well regarded. That being exclusive to PS5 is huge. That's a system seller. Same would be for Metal Gear. If you got a Metal Gear remake, then a lot of older gamers, nostalgia will kick in, and that's a system seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most gamers, apart from Metal Gear Solid 5, but a lot of gamers coming up and growing up now probably don't have a fucking clue who Solid Snake is. But everyone else seems to think he's important, so make another game.
I mean, let's be honest, there's going to be a TV show for it at some point that's going to tie into a remake, and it's all going to...
That would check out, though, wouldn't it, Pete? That would check out.
It's the exact type of one they should do a TV show for. You can even see Henry Cavill playing him.
Oh, yes.
I'm all in.
Right?
I'm all
you see
in.
what I mean? You see what I mean?
Sold it.
Set up for it. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, for now, it still remains just rumours.
I'm going to buy a PlayStation for
that. For an offhand comment from me. But okay, yes.
Exactly.
Nice. I like it. That controls your intent. Wonderful.
Right, my story is to do with the Switch. So Nintendo had an investor meeting after their latest financial results. They talked about a number of things, but a couple of points of note were made by President Furukawa. He said that, bearing in mind the Switch is 7 years old now, Nintendo has no plans to drop the price.
Of course it doesn't, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the first thing.
Nintendo.
But secondly, so Tears of the Kingdom is the first, I believe, $70 Switch game in the US. That is not strictly true, because there was one other, and it was Skyrim.
Yeah, of course.
But forget about Skyrim for the moment, which was actually Nintendo published on the Switch, interestingly enough. But so Tears of the Kingdom, first £70 game from Nintendo. That wasn't Skyrim. But they said that it's not indicative of Nintendo games in general going up to $70. You know, like PlayStation have done, and I think Microsoft have followed suit, that their main first-party games are now £70, and other third parties have done it as well. But Nintendo have said that it was for this game, but it doesn't mean it is for others. Now, also in the UK, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was £50 in most retailers, if not cheaper. So, despite it having the higher RRP, we still got it cheaper. And it was £60 on the Nintendo store. So it could have been worse. It was like that whole talk was a bit of hot air, really, because, I got it for $49.99. And his last point that was interesting was that there are no plans for the Switch 2 to be released in Nintendo's current financial year, which runs to the end of March 2024. So Switch sales are down 22% year on year, and Nintendo targets 15 million Switch sales this year, which I think is outlandish. That's
Does seem
optimistic,
high, doesn't it?
It's optimistic at at best, it would seem. But they're selling more games than ever, and you would expect that because there are more Switches out there. But yeah, games are selling as good as they ever have on the Switch. But for me, the third-party support from AAA to AA games is now starting to dwindle, because as the Xbox, the PS5, like as those are the specs of that hardware are so far beyond, and as games become exclusive to the current gen, then Switch just can't handle it. So I suspect that will be the driver rather than hardware sales. Like, as soon as hardware sales start to drop a bit more, it's the fact that there's not awful lot of third-party support going to be coming to the Switch in the next year or so. I wouldn't have thought so. Probably look forward to a Switch 2 next year, and then also they've got to compete with all these other handhelds like the Switch and the Steam Deck and the Asus Rogue Ally that we talked about. Yeah,
it's an interesting business model. 7 years later, the hardware that goes into a Switch must be so much cheaper than it was that they're actually making a higher profit now than they were at the beginning.
I think the chip, Pete, is from 2013.
Yeah, so Jesus.
Or 2015. It was I think the chip was 2 years old by the time it was released.
Through development and released. My God, that must be so cheap now comparatively. All of it.
They did actually talk about the yen being in quite a weak position at the moment, and that production costs had really risen. So
maybe staffing, maybe that's the side of it that's gone up dramatically. It can't be that hard, can it?
But it's also, if the yen's weak against the dollar and they're importing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but they're just importing from Taiwan.
But things are traded in dollars.
That's true. That is true.
Everything's traded in dollars. It's the same with oil. I don't want to. Let's not get political, fair. But But yeah, I mean, who knows how that changes their outlook, or whether it does at all. Do they just stay in their lane and say, "We're Nintendo, we don't give a fuck," or do they care about the Steam Deck?
They've done it for 10 years, but
they've done the same thing since they were founded in the 1800s, which is be Nintendo.
Nintendo. That is it. Be Nintendo.
Yeah.
Everyone else can do whatever they want, and we'll just do our thing.
Exactly.
And it's really worked for them so far. So.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
Fantastic. Well, that rounds out the news, so I guess we're on to the new releases, aren't we?
Cool. It's a good week. Week. Oh, have you had a look through? You had a little look through?
I've had a little look. That's a good week.
Look through. There's a lot of games here, and there are some good ones in there. No AAA belters, but there are some good games here. So let's start off with what looks fantastic. Starship Troopers Extermination. They really should have called it Nuke It Rico, shouldn't they? They must have been fantastic. I would have bought the game just on that alone. It's coming out on PC on May 17th. Starship Troopers Extermination is a co-op FPS that puts you on the far off front lines of an all-out battle against the bugs. Squad up, grab your rifle, and do your part as an elite deep space vanguard trooper set to take back planets claimed by the arachnid threat. The visuals are good. Not too bad. They're quite good. It really does well at getting the whole world right of the Starship Troopers universe. If you don't know what I mean, watch the movie and then watch this, and then you'll go, oh, yeah, fair enough. The gunplay, and this is, how do I put this? The gunplay seems really shit, but no, hear me out. It sounds exactly like it did in the movies.
Yeah.
So perfect.
What do you do there? It sounds so unthwacky, like anti-COD, that I don't think it'll be entertaining to shoot a gun at all. But at the same time, it sounds exactly like it does in the movie, like a high-pitched nail gun, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Because they couldn't have gone away from the movie, so fair enough to them. You can complete objectives, you can acquire resources that help you build and defend a base. and then you escape and extract the planet together. So that's pretty cool. There's 3 playable classes as well, and you can have up to 16 players in like a mission. And what's really cool, you have groups of 4 as well. So this would be a good game to like maybe play with your Warzone buddies or your PUBG buddies. There are different modes as well. I'll be honest, this looks fantastic. I really like the look of it. It's only on PC, which really upsets me. Not only because these games on PC normally die a painful death, but also it would be a good game to play with your buddies who you play your first-person shooters on. So that's the only negative about it. But apart from that, I think this looks really good. What do you guys think?
It gives me Aliens Fireteam Elite vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And I did enjoy that game. The reason, I think these games live or die by the character upgrade system. Like, how rewarding is it to do a mission to get points to spend on being able to get a better weapon or to upgrade stuff? If you get that stuff behind the scenes right, there is genuinely something there.
So when you progress in your class, Ben, you do unlock new weapons, you unlock new equipment, and you get perks as well. So that's basically, cool. the more you level, the better you become.
Yeah, because we play first-person shooters together. The greatest thing about, I think, the ones that we play are it's the incremental things that make you feel like you've earned something, that you're changing your guns, all that kind of stuff. If they get that stuff right, then there's something here.
And I mean, how good is like Warzone in the beginning months when you are finding the weapons that are meta, and then you use that amazing time to level up and get. You feel it's weird. You feel great when like you unlock the scope that you want. Or maybe you unlock a silencer, and you do feel great. It's quite sad to say out loud, but
it is. But honestly, that's how those games keep their audience. And if that stuff isn't good, then the whole thing dies. I think this looks pretty. It could be pretty cool. They're really pushing the Starship Trooper games, aren't they? Because there was the other real-time strategy one.
There was
as well.
Recently,
so that one's supposed to be quite good.
This is only the early access release, and it's meant to be in early access for about a year.
There you go, it might come to console.
It may well be that console is something they're planning for the full release.
Fair enough.
It's a lot easier to control the PC version, isn't it?
I like that narrative, but normally that they have to have a good launch, else
it's early access, buddy. It's early access.
I also think PC players are constructive with feedback a bit more in early access than console gamers, so you can't really do that, can you?
Yeah.
Can't get it out to consoles because it'll just, if it comes to console and it's early access, it just dies.
Yes.
A good thing to end on. It's the same developers and publishers as Squad. Now I'm a big first person shooter, so I think hardcore ones will know. But Squad is known as a fantastic, one of the best first person shooters for PC gamers.
I like how you referred to yourself as a first-person shooter, not a first-person shooter gamer or first-person shooter fan. I am a first-person.
That's what the hardcore
shooter.
first-person shooters call themselves, Ben.
I shoot in first person.
You wouldn't understand because you are not an expert first-person shooter.
I am not. I'm not a first-person shooter.
You refer to yourself as a first-person shooter gamer, and that's why you will never be one of us.
That's why no one will remember my name.
Exactly. Thank you.
Precisely.
Right. Let's move on, because we just spent 5 minutes on the first game and there's about fucking 15 to go.
Yes,
next one, the Outlast Trials, coming out on PC May 18th. Red Barrels invites you to experience mind-numbing terror, this time with friends. God, why do they have to always put... I know they have to put it to say, like, co-op, but this is a horror game and they're trying to... It just ruined it. Whether you go through the trials alone or in teams, if you survive... Wait, so that's 2 sentences in a row where they've gone, you can play with friends.
Yeah.
They're pushing it. They're pushing it hard.
Fuck me. If you survive long enough and complete the therapy, Murkoff will happily let you leave. But will you be the same with friends? It's the sequel to the 2013 Outlast. So it's a first-person survival horror game. You know what's funny? It's called a survival game. But I guess it is a survival game, because you're trying to survive. But do you not think of survival games like games where you need to eat and drink and sleep?
They call them survival games. Like they're called Resident Evil, a survival game.
There you go. I mean, it makes sense. I shouldn't shit on it, because it does make perfect sense. You're trying to survive. Yeah.
Trying to survive.
I never played the first one, but Game played this.
There was Outlast 2 as well. Outlast 2.
Oh, was there an Outlast 2? I didn't know that.
There was, yeah.
But yeah, I don't care for them. But I bet people who do would really like this.
It's an interesting one to put in the add with friends bit. Like, you never know how that will then pan out. I think Outlast people really liked. Like, Outlast and Outlast 2, like, they're supposed to be scary games. Like, scary single-player games. How does that translate when you're playing with friends? Are the people that are playing Outlast, do they want to play with their mates? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go down the positive route and say they're going to sell this game to people who like Outlast, and therefore they've got that market already, and then they are also appealing to all the people that play loads of games with their mates.
That's what they're going for.
There you go. Lovely.
There you go.
Right. Pete's and quiet, so I'm moving on. Veiled Experts, coming out on PC May 18th. Experience an advanced version of the classic Search and Destroy mode. Roll, vault and scale walls as you shoot down the enemy. The shrinking magnetic field and scan grenades constantly keep you on the move. Work with your teammates to pull off incredible team play moves. So it's a free-to-play 5v5 tactical shooter, because this genre isn't packed enough already. The visuals look okay, look quite good. It is a little bit cartoony, I find that people are, but that's fine. The gunplay actually seems really good, way better than the fucking Starship Troopers one, sorry guys. You have unique agents with exclusive abilities, and you can also, the other kind of hook to it is there's no camping because there's that magnetic field that closes in, and the abilities, there are like support abilities where you can like see where people are. And Warzone, this week, or was it last week, introduced this sandstorm mode, which is supposed to like obscures people long vision to stop snipers. And I think that's fucking great. And this game, half its hook is no camping, which is great because there's nothing worse than experiencing that in a first-person shooter. But yeah, you guys, any of you interested in this? It's free to play.
It's free to play.
Aren't they all? I feel this gets lost amidst a lot of other games. I do like what you're saying though. I like the things you're talking about there. Like it's trying to freshen up the loop a little bit, trying to change things, but I just think there's too much competition.
Yeah, it must be so demoralising, like making a game like this, because even if it's good, you get people like us just going like, well, it's going to die. It's dead on arrival. Sorry, it doesn't matter if you've got a 10 out of 10.
I really do.
Yeah, I don't think we went that far, but okay, yeah.
But who the fuck's going to play it? Like, that's the problem. Like, first-person shooter fans, they've already got their first-person shooters. Unless you're really fed up. Oh yeah, no, it is third-person, isn't it? Yeah. Well, even worse.
It does make it a more casual game experience, third-person. I feel, because it's not competitive, really, is it? It's
well, it is. I mean.
It is, but for example, the reason why I won't play PUBG in third person is because you just crouch behind a fucking window and you can see everyone and no one can see you. To me, it's not. It's silly. It's silly.
It is silly. Silliness.
But this game does look a little bit silly. Like, not as serious as, your Warzones or one.
Play this free-to-play game if you want to be a silly goose.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit harsh.
It's equally silly as anyone who plays Call of Duty, but that's fine.
Whoa.
Okay, we are playing it straight after this podcast, but that's fine.
We're playing ranked mode straight after this pod.
Straight after, so let's get the silly geese onto the next silly game. Lego 2K Drive, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, May 19th. It's a racing game in the Lego world, basically. There's a story mode as well as an online multiplayer, and you have cups and things like that. You know what's pretty cool, though, is you can build vehicles in the garage mode. And actually looks quite fun, and then you can obviously drive those vehicles around. Good old Lego, though, it's charging £50 for this. It's a shame. Yeah, I like the look of this, but I saw the price tag and went, fuck me. You know what?
It's basically
typical. At Christmas, I wanted to buy my dad a a Lego Star Wars like ship.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit! I walked into the Lego store in
yeah.
Brighton. Whoa! Wow.
Oh, there was a Lego BD1 celebrating like
there was,
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
And saw it. I was like, wow, this is cool. Not for £80. Okay, so not only is it £80, but I have to build it myself. Fuck off.
Wow. Okay. I think you're missing it.
But this game is basically, from what I can see, correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie, it's like open world. It's basically Forza Horizon, but in Lego.
Yeah. I mean, you enter races and stuff, but yeah, exactly like Forza Horizon.
I think it looks good if you like racing.
Didn't
games,
oh, that's right. Didn't last week we had a motorbike racing in the open world as well? So it seems like everyone's following the Horizon route.
Yeah, good stuff.
Which is fair enough.
I'm still just reeling from Ben thinking that Lego is just like IKEA, basically, and that putting it together is difficult.
I want
a problem.
I wanted the end product without having to go through the hardship. Without going through the hardship.
Yeah.
Which other people enjoy, and I find annoying and tedious.
Yes, indeed. I don't think Lego is for you. I'm also.
I was telling my mate
Lego...
the other day about this lovely restaurant on Dartmoor, and I was like, "Oh, it's great." So they bring out this hot plate, and he went, "What? You have to cook the meat yourself?" I was like, yeah.
I've had the same fucking thing. You order fajitas in some restaurants, and you just build your own fajita. Fuck off. What?
I think if you're questioning it, I don't think it's for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. If you're questioning it, it's not for you, but you're missing out anyway. The other thing I'm wondering is Lego and Nintendo are just the same people, aren't they? Like, no price drops. Everything maintains value.
Yes,
maintained value.
Price
the nicest
put up actually.
Yeah, increases. Every single one of them is an asset. Yeah.
I would like to see what this is being charged at Switch. Actually, that'd be interesting.
Definitely,
it's 50
same
quid
price.
I think it's 50 quid on Steam. Yeah, 50
Probably
quid.
the same price on Switch.
You reckon? £112.
£112. Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Inkbound coming out on PC May 22nd. Inkbound reinvents turn-based gameplay in a fluid. It doesn't, by the way. In a fluid online-only co-op roguelike from the creator of Monster Train. Play solo or party up. That's two blurbs in a row that have said it twice in a row. Come on. Play solo or party up to dive into the magical, dangerous books of the Antheum Library and fight to save this rich, ever-expanding world. So it's a tactical RPG with roguelike elements and turn-based combat. So there you go. I'm glad I researched that. You can have different classes and it's best to work together. Let me get to the overriding comment. The visuals are purple. Now, I know what you're thinking, listeners. What the fuck does he mean by that? You know what? I challenge you. I will buy anyone a copy of this game if they find me one gameplay footage that doesn't have the colour purple in. There you go.
God, you've opened yourself up there.
Isn't the UI purple based though? So he's got a pretty good win there.
Everything is purple, Pete. Everything.
If it's got a photo mode though, you are in trouble because
turn that off. I'm not. That's the safest bet I've ever made in my life. Ever. Everything is purple. It's ridiculous.
There is a lot of a sort of inky purple colour, like the name.
It's fucking outrageous.
I'm not sure I'd go that far. It's literally called Inkbound. But yes.
Why do they call it Purple Bound?
I don't think we're making any ground in this conversation. Either way, it's quite clean looking. It's cartoony, but the visuals are not bad despite the purple.
I think there's no doubt in my mind that this actually would be a good game because it's made by the people who made Monster Train. So it is actually going to be a good game. So it's just not probably for us.
Well, definitely not for Eddie, who I
not for Eddie.
Had such strong feelings about a couple.
I was actually relatively interested until Eddie was quite down.
Until you realised how purple it was.
It's so fucking purple. Anyway, After Us, coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's May 23rd. Explore the corners of a surrealistic post-human world. I fucking hate that word. To give life on Earth a second chance in this touching story about sacrifice and hope. It's an adventure platformer focusing on a story about salvaging the souls of extinct animals. Now, you'd think I'd shit on this, because this is the kind of game I usually shit on.
But you knew Ben would already be crying about this, didn't you?
But honestly, the visuals, the atmosphere, it's just all of it is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful. I think the only word to describe it is beautiful. I bet the story is actually quite emotive. I think, and here's a comment. It's not for me. I'll start off by saying that, but I think this could be a little gem.
I would not be surprised. It reminds me of things like Lost Ember, Stray,
Yes, Lost
Extinction,
Ember, very
Ben.
good.
Yep, absolutely.
It reminds me of all of that type of game. And the ones I've played, I've really enjoyed. So
Why the fuck isn't this on Switch?
This would be perfect for Switch.
What the fuck they're doing?
Yeah, totally with you there. Oh yeah, they've really missed something there. Pete, the developers are Piccolo, so
really?
Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, oh my god.
Outer Worlds, that kind of stuff.
They do make good games. They never miss, as Ben says.
They don't miss. Okay.
They made Ancestors. That was
they
pretty
made
shite.
Ollie well, didn't they? But yeah.
And Rollerdrome.
They never miss.
Never miss.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think this could be a little gem, so look out for this one, listeners.
Looks wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Blooming Business Casino, coming out on PC May 23rd. Blooming Business... Pete, how do you not cull this one? Blooming Business Casino is a business tycoon sim with a narrative twist. Build and run your own fantasy casino in a bustling world full of animals, drama and danger. So yeah, it's a casino builder manager kind of game. The visuals are really quite basic. It's kind of like a Facebook game. Everyone is an animal. Yeah. I don't know why. They don't explain it, but everyone's an animal. A different animal, may I just add. So there might be a goat, there might be a tiger, because apparently all these animals like to go to a casino. There is a campaign and a sandbox mode, so if you like the ever ongoing gameplay like I do. You can manage and level up staff and like get their abilities and stuff. So there is kind of that kind of aspect. I just think it's far too basic for me, even though I like these kind of games. But Pete, what do you think? I'm going to come to you.
I kept it in here because I thought this might be for you. Or potentially for your mum, in theory.
I think my mum would love this.
But that's the only reason it survived. I have absolutely no interest at all.
Yeah. Anything, Ben?
I thought it looked all right, but I think fair assessment.
Yeah. There's a free demo for our listeners if they want to check it out. Next one, Glitch Busters Stuck on You, coming out on PC, PlayStations and Switch May 23rd. It's a third-person shooter. You can have like unique abilities, like all of them do these days. Has a really bright cartoon look with borderline edges to the characters. I don't know what I meant by reading this, but I'm opening up the tab now and holy fuck. If I complained about the purple, why am I not going mental about this look? Woo! Jesus Christ. It could be potentially one of the worst games I've ever seen. I bet Switch gamers would absolutely love this, though. Maybe Game of the Year contender.
It doesn't look the worst. I mean, for what they're trying to do, it's clean. It looks good. It's got that Tinykin kind of vibe to it in a way. I don't know who this is aimed at, but no, that's all I got.
They missed anyway.
That's all I got.
Yeah. It looks horrific.
That's a bit harsh.
Strong terms being thrown around here, but
it's quite harsh, I think.
I don't know what you want from me. I'm hating this. Okay. I want better games.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to a better game.
Yeah. All right. Miasma Chronicles? Miasma. Yeah, that's a name, isn't it? Miasma Chronicles, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, May 23rd. From the creators of Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden, comes a beautifully crafted tactical adventure you won't forget. Embark on a quest across a post-apocalyptic wasteland torn apart by a savage force known only as the Miasma. There you go. It's a tactical RPG. It's got kind of XCOM XCOM Combat. The visuals are great, actually. It's obviously kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of dark looking. The UI is also really nice. This could be great. This could be a great game, but it also could fall into the huge abyss of all other games of this genre.
Yes.
I personally have wishlisted it. I'm excited about it, but why don't you guys shoot me down?
I don't think there's anything to shoot down, really. I think it's published by 505 Games, isn't it? And they do Death Stranding and stuff, so
Yep.
I'm already in. But it looks, like, graphically looks really good. These are games that, like, you don't know until you actually play it and you see the mechanics and you get some reviews and you actually get someone who's played a few of these to talk about it, because it ticks every box from an XCOM style. It looks great. It seems like it's got an interesting kind of story to it. Combat looks good from what I've seen.
Yes.
You just need somebody to review it and say it's good.
Yeah. I think the thing for me is not only does it look like it does the XCOM combat well, but it looks like the out of combat stuff actually looks really cool. Like the visuals, the look to it. It looks dark and gritty, even like the populated areas.
The lighting is amazing in this. Like, for an XCOM style game, the lighting is stunning. It's a real selling point. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of this. Like, is this a game like that people are aware of or something? Because this is coming to next gen consoles or current gen consoles and PC.
But it doesn't feel like we've heard much about it, does it? Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever heard of it, but it looks the part, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I don't look ahead for games, so I've never heard of it. But that's the beauty of never keeping your ear to the ground in the gaming industry for me, is you get surprised with lovely games like this. I loved Mutant Year Zero. Thought it was a really good game. The only thing I didn't like about it is, and I know this sounds stupid, but you played as, what was it, like a pig, a duck, and even the woman was something weird, wasn't she? Like a robot or something? I can't remember. But anyway, and that was quite, I don't know, I just couldn't get on board with it. I just didn't feel like I was in control of a human, so I didn't pretend it was me. But this game obviously has that, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, this could be good.
Cool. Right, let's move on. Planet of Lana, coming out on PC, Xboxes, May 23rd. A young girl and her loyal friend embark on a rescue mission through a colourful world full of cold machines and unfamiliar creatures. It's a 2.5D action platformer. As we all know, I don't give a fuck about these types of games unless they look bloody special, like Ori, Will-o'-the-Wisp or things like that. And this looks special. It looks fucking beautiful. Everything that I've seen so far, the visuals, even like the desert, the water, even the dark areas, just everything about it just looks really, really nice to me. This could be an amazing casual game. It could be shit, could be wrong. I don't play these kind of games. You two play these kind of games, so what do you think?
It's on my wish list.
Oh, yes.
It actually is. It's on the wish list. The problem is with all these games, less so with Ori, but with this type of game, I have to be very much in the mood for it.
Yes.
And I'm not quite there right now, but it gives me a bit of Journey vibe as well. I think that might just be the way they did the trailer, but anytime it does that, I kind of want to play that game. Yeah. So, yeah, I've wishlisted it. I will be following with interest.
I'm always a bit skeptical of games like this, including like After Us, which we saw earlier. Like, you never... It's almost, you think it might be easy to make a trailer of this type of game, and actually it might just turn out to be very boring.
There is a bit of that. There's also the problem that these games tend to be best when they're not very long.
Yeah, like a
then you
4 to 5 hour
£40
thing.
For a 5 to 10 hour game, say, is tricky.
Yeah, I've played a few of these which are very short. I can't remember the name of that. You know, that vehicle thing that just basically had to go left to right for the whole...
yes.
Something Sands or something Wins.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I beat that one, but it was only Farland Sales.
That's it.
And that was only like 2.5 hours long or something, and that was a good length for the game. But then at its cheapest, you're going to be looking at 15 quid, aren't you? It's like, it's not when it comes out anyway. It's quite a lot.
But this is why it will sit on my wish list until I'm 1, in the mood, and 2, it's at a price I'm like, yeah, let's go.
This is a weird one because when this was shown, I think it was probably on a Nintendo Direct or something. Everyone then just latches onto it and says, "Oh, this looks amazing, and I don't know. I just like, I like these types of games like Endling and games like that, like the emotive kind of good-looking games. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be doing what they all do. We'll have to see what reviews say. It looks quite slow as well.
It's not quite as saturated a market for me, so I suppose I maintain some positivity around it.
Yeah.
There you go. Next one, Puzzle Bobble Every Bubble. Fuck me. Coming out on Switch, May 23rd. You know that mobile game where you shoot bubbles like up and you have to get 3 in a row and it drops the bubbles, and if you have bubbles like below those bubbles, then they also fall, and that's the idea of the game. Yeah.
Is that Beehive Bedlam?
Huh?
It's not the same as like Beehive Bedlam on your Sky remote back
Yes, exactly the same, Ben. Exactly the same. So, as we all know, you could play on the Sky remote. I used to play it in school on a web browser, like in IT class. Yeah. Well, Switch have now created this and are charging £35 for it. So, there you go. You can play up to 4-player co-op.
In fairness, it won't be Nintendo. It'll be somebody else.
Yeah. It says it's developed for Nintendo Switch, but
yeah.
There you go.
Let's move.
Yeah, Nintendo. I honestly, guys, when I loaded up this to research it, I didn't even click. Once I saw the picture, I didn't even click.
Yes, yeah. No, it's very
it's
similar.
right. Come on, can we not talk about the £35 price tag?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's insane, right? That's
Yes.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's madness.
I could
You
literally,
couldn't even
if you
pay
gave
me to click on the link.
if you gave me 2 minutes, I could find this game on anyone's mobile phone. Right, let's move on. Star Trek Resurgence, coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's May 23rd. An epic narrative adventure featuring dialogue-driven role-playing and rich branching storylines. You will also engage with the Star Trek universe in a variety of ways, including shuttle piloting, phaser fights, tricorder scanning.
Tricorder, yeah.
Fuck me, is it not time to watch Star Trek? Stealth and more. So this is the game that all Star Trek fans are banging on about. The visuals look really quite bad, in my opinion. Sorry, Star Trek fans, you're not going to like this review. The game also looks really simple. To be fair to the developers, every single bit of blurb that I've read, they are banging on about how it's like a narrative game. And Star Trek fans are apparently loving the look of it. So, fair enough. I think it looks like an Xbox 360 game, but if you like it and if you're a Star Trek fan, then yeah, fill your boots. What do you guys think?
Way to pick on a real thirst-heavy crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is basically
big gamer
marketing.
crowd as well. Big gamer crowd.
But it does look very poor. It better have a really good decision engine behind it, because that's what they're selling this on, really, is the narrative choices and the conversation choices.
Oh, but Pete, even the decisions are it's even got the look of, an Xbox 360 game where it's got the Y, X, and A, and it's even got them in the positions. It's not even tried. It's gone well, yeah, there you go.
In fairness to it, I saw a 4-minute gameplay.
The IGN one?
On IGN, yeah. And if you look at the comments there from Star Trek fans, they're all very, very positive about this, because it's they're saying it's like old school Star Trek. It's like Star Trek for Star Trek fans. It's it makes it feel like an episode. Even the way that they speak is stuff that would have been said in the episode. So again, I think this is target market driven, but you're right. Everything you've said is how I would feel about it as well. It does look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks really bad. I put here, I don't think it would be appealing to anyone who isn't a Star Trek fan. I like Star Trek. I watched it a lot when I was younger, but I wouldn't call myself a fan now. It's not like I watch any of the new Picards or whatever. and this looks bad to me. So
yes,
bit of a shame. But anyway, a bit of a shame to end on that one. But Star Trek fans will be happy. And overall, it's been a really good week. It's difficult to pick my pick. Yeah, it's difficult because Planet of Lana and After Us, I think, would be absolute beauties. But I can't pick that because I won't like play it unless I have to. Starship Troopers looks fantastic. I think I would fucking love playing it. But I'm going to take a risk and say Miasma Chronicles. Because yeah, well, it's the creators from Mutant Year Zero. It's a tactical RPG with XCOM combat, so I'm gonna love it. I mean, I might not play endless amounts, but I'm definitely gonna chuck in like 50 hours to that. So it's on my wish list, and I'll probably end up getting it quite soon.
Yeah, it looks the part.
Good week though, eh?
Yeah, very good from like
in the mid range. If you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, mid-range games. Yeah, and you know what's good? We've had two bad weeks in a row, so this has been lovely. What a lot
of variety in here as well. I think there's something for most people in there.
Was that a dig at Zelda, Eddie?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Jesus.
It's about time we had a good week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
Fantastic. So on to what we've been playing, but save Zelda for a little bit, Ben, because I know you also finished Jedi Survivor, haven't you?
Yes. So I finished Jedi Survivor just before Zelda came out. I realised I had to get that done because I know what I'm like, and I would just put it down. It doesn't matter if it's an amazing game. I cannot do two things at once, so as much as I try. So there we go. But yeah, completed it. Jedi Survivor, fantastic fucking game. It really turns hard as nails with the last 4 or so story bosses. That was the first time where I thought, "Ooh, this is a bit Souls-like," because I was having to die, come back, try again. The only small issue I would say is that I don't think the combat is as responsive as like a Souls game. Definitely not the dodging and the blocking. It's not as instant as like a Souls game would be. So Souls games are quite reactionary, but this is not as good at that. You feel a bit like you're being punished when something goes wrong.
Yeah. Do you think that's a case? Because like one of the things you notice in Elden Ring is that the attack animations and block animations aren't particularly linked except for parry.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So you get some bits that are quite jarring, but it's incredibly fast-paced. Whereas in this game, and particularly in the first one, I got the sense that there was a link between how people received the attacks and how yours went out. So do you think that might be the reason why it feels a bit more reactive?
I'm not sure. Like what the problem I had with this is, so if you see an attack coming towards you and you press block at the moment it's supposed to hit you, you'll be too late.
Yeah, that's
and in a Souls game you would.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would register as long as it hadn't hit you. It would have registered. But this is not as reactive, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that there are iframes when you're dodging.
Yeah.
I'm not positive on that, and there may be some, but if there are iframes, it's not like a Souls game, and it's its own game, so it doesn't have to be that. The only reason I'm comparing it is because it's obvious that that's what they're trying to go for. Right. And when you have rock solid bosses, there is an element of learning attack patterns and stuff like that, but I'd be very interested to see someone. So like in a Souls game, you can no hit the game. You can complete the game without being hit. I mean, I can't, but there are many streamers who do this. Now, I'd be interested to know whether Jedi Survivor is possible to no hit. And it doesn't matter if it's not. It's only that if it's not possible to no hit, because you generally need iframes in a no hit.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, invincibility frames where you're dodging and the game recognizes you're dodging, so therefore will not allow you to get hit during that period.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like that for me was that, and also during the boss fights, there's cutscenes. Now you click to lock on, just like you would Elden Ring or something like that on the boss. When there's a cutscene, it removes your lock on. So then it comes out, and there may be several cutscenes during a boss fight where it goes to next phase. And you have to re-lock on, and that wouldn't be a problem. It's just that it almost like loads you back in, and there's like a 2-second delay, and then you're frantically clicking, and you want to heal, and then they'll just hit you, and you're like, that is not my fault. None of that is my fault. You have that feels like a punishing design choice. And it's not. So minor grips to an otherwise fantastic game, great storyline, good side options, just great world building. Ugly as sin, but great gameplay. I'm not sure if the patches since I stopped playing have improved it, but anyone defending how this game looks, we don't have the same type of eyes. So not the best looking game, but still is cool. Great. It's definitely my game of the year so far.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, strong. And that was just before you started Zelda, no doubt.
Yes.
Before we come to Zelda, Eddie, have you played anything?
Yeah. I mean, I've played 2 Point Campus.
Oh.
So I'm not going to bang on about it because Ben, I think you played it back in August, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's that university management game, the sequel to 2 Point Hospital. I've got to say, when I straight off the bat, when I came in, I was like, "Whoa, this is Theme Hospital!" Like straight away. I've heard like 2 Point Hospital is supposed to be pretty much its like successor, if you will. But fuck me, playing this game after like 2 minutes, I mean, it already looks like it's copied the cartoony kind of look to it, and it plays just like it. And with that comes the really addictive gameplay that you get with your those old Sega games. Absolutely loved it for a while. I liked the story. I liked the fact that you went to like different places to do different things. It kind of kept it interesting instead of like a sandbox mode where you just keep on going. So I quite liked that. I also liked that your teachers have needs, so you actually feel a little bit connected to them. The only thing, this is such a disappointment. The thing that I really don't like about it is you don't receive money after like treatments, obviously, like you do in Theme Hospital. And that for me was kind of everything. It was kind of the reward to the game. The way the finances in this game work is you get your tuition at the beginning of the year, and that's it. So there's no, like, I play these games, all of these kind of games, the roller coaster ones, the hospital, the whatever, it's weird, but I do it for like the kind of financial, so that I build up my finances so I'm comfortable to maybe install big things and do wonderful things. And in this game, there's no gratification like that. There's no, I've just built this, therefore it's gotten me this, and therefore I'm now being able to build this. So I didn't feel that. Ben, did you feel that?
Well, I only played a limited amount. Was it to do with like you wanted the grades of your students and stuff? Was that something that you're trying to get?
Yes,
higher
exactly.
As well?
Yeah, you get bonuses like if you have like a certain amount of over a certain level, and you get little achievements and things. So it's kind of focused on that. But even still, like, it was very obvious that you look at them and they go, "Oh, it's because they're not entertained enough," and you just build another fucking room, and it felt instead of like running a business, it felt like you were just ticking boxes, I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So,
how does this, like, in your mind compare? Because I found it, to be honest, I was playing this because it came out day one on Game Pass, and I was like, I want to play it because we talk about it on the podcast, blah blah blah. But is this interesting? I find it boring.
I found it really cool for a while. I really did. It had the loop had me. I kept on logging on, and the missus would ask if I'm going to bed, and I'd lie, and I'd say, "Oh, I've got to do a bit of work." Then I'd quickly log on to 2 Point Campus. But yeah, once I got hold of the mechanics, I think I was about 4 levels in at this point, and I was like, well, I'm just ticking boxes. And as soon as I feel like I'm just doing a chore in a game, the game is effectively dead to me. And it's a shame because I know like Theme Hospital, maybe I should try 2 Point Hospital, because then I see the finances going up and I get a weird satisfaction over it. So, but this game doesn't have that for me. So, yeah, really disappointed. But I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm not.
Did you play it on Game Pass?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Game Pass.
Is 2 Point Hospital not on Game Pass?
No, it's not. I know. I'm really upset by that.
Yeah.
I think it's a non-Eddie price, like £20.
Ooh, nasty.
Far too much. Yes.
Nasty.
Far too much. Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Should we talk about Zelda?
Yes, of course. I obviously should point out all I've done is play WoW, because it's mostly been diplomacy of trying to get guilds together to run the larger raids.
Oh yeah, I was gonna gloss over the fact that you hadn't had anything in the doc, but yeah.
Yeah, basically.
And Rimworld, Pete.
I have been playing Rimworld in the background.
Because you messaged me the other day going like, I did this and this and this. I was like, yes.
Yeah, Rimworld, you know it's gone wrong when it's minus 37 degrees in the summer on your map. It's not gone great. But we will ignore that because we have much more important things to talk about, such as Tears of the Kingdom.
We do. I mean, when you don't talk about a game, you've still probably played about 15 hours of games in a week.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just there's nothing new to talk about. But okay, let's talk about Zelda. So Tears of the Kingdom came out last Friday. I've put quite a bit of time into it. I think I'm 10 or 12 hours in, something like that. It immediately has that feeling of, settling in for one of those longer term RPGs. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you start a game on Skyrim or Fallout or something, and you're not playing it to progress the story. You're not playing it to. You're just playing it to be in the world.
Yes, you're getting invested.
Yes,
yeah,
and that's what you get that immediate feeling straight in. And for those that have played Breath of the Wild, it just takes you right back to that. You're like, yes, I remember. Oh, I remember these controls being weird, and yes, I remember. Why is jump Y? Why is run A or B or whatever? It's like constantly pressing the wrong buttons for everything. But that's fine. That's fine. We forgive that. we move on. But yeah, it looks lovely as well. It looks. I think it looks good. People were almost, the haters were saying reused assets and how could Sony and Nintendo can get away with releasing a game that looks exactly the same. And I think this looks much better. I'm not sure. I'm playing it on the OLED and I'm playing it on monitor as well. And I think it looks really good in both. So there you go. But as I said, 12 hours in, I don't feel like I've scratched the surface. I'm still at the point where I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to a marker and just trying to get there, and then doing some weird and wacky thing and getting distracted all over the place getting there. But Breath of the Wild was a pretty big map. I think we said before that it was like 1.6 or 1.7 times the size of Skyrim.
Yeah.
But now this has 3 layers. It has like the sky realm, it's got the land, and then it's got the depths, which is the same space as the land, but just beneath, and it's all dark. It's covered in darkness, and you have to kind of light up the darkness at the bottom there, and that's where you get all the best loot and stuff like that. And it's only today that I even found my way into the depths. And it's not a quest or anything. You just find yourself. You just go down there, and you're like, oh fuck, this is something completely new. I was looking for something completely different, and that's where I ended up. And I was like, okay, need to get out of here because it was very brutal. But it's had a lot of positivity on Twitter, since release. People immediately proclaiming it a masterpiece after doing the first shrine, and that's fucking insanity. But I do understand the sentiment. This is going to be good, and everyone's saying it's good, and it's got a 97 on OpenCritic and a 96 on Metacritic or whatever. This is we kind of know what you're getting into, but yeah.
Well, just on their reviews and on your first experience, Ben, do you get the same sense of wonder you had when you first turned on Skyrim? You know what I mean? Because of
100%.
Okay, good. The reason I ask is obviously because this is a sequel in a different way to Skyrim being a sequel to Oblivion.
Yes.
Whether it felt like you were slipping back into a familiar setting, or if it is that, this is where they've gone, this is what they've done with it.
So the world has changed in so much as like there have been things that have happened throughout the world where landscapers or like towns are no longer the town or slightly changed. Things have happened. That's all good. The world does seem a hell of a lot more alive than Breath of the Wild ever did. Awesome. Breath of the Wild, like as you're roaming around, there were things interesting. There's a few puzzles here and there, but it wasn't. This feels like there's just so much more going on, and the shrines as well because this Breath of the Wild was criticised in some quarters by not having traditional dungeons, which were in a Zelda game. Now they have these shrines, like they had like 150 odd shrines about the world. You do 4 shrines, and then you can level up your health or your stamina, and that's all you do in Zelda games. It's in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's health or it's stamina. Like that's pretty much all you're doing. You have a very limited kind of clothing score, which is like starts at 1 and it'll go to like 10 or 12, whatever. And you have a rating for like your shield and your weapon, which still breaks. But and that's pretty much it. Then otherwise it's just about the skill of playing the game and the creativity of playing it. But the sense of wonder is immediately there, and they start you off in the tutorial area in the sky.
Nice.
So the big thing is then completing the tutorial and then jumping off, and that's when like you're falling down and it has the title screen and the music kicks in, and the music is fantastic in this. Like you go to a new place and then suddenly the music is so much better than Breath of the Wild. Like they've really doubled down on it. It's just it's almost like I don't know what to say about this game. I've played it 10 to 12 hours and I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Like I've done maybe 14 odd shrines, something like that. I've got a bit more health, a bit more stamina. I'm kind of at the first dungeon, so at the first traditional dungeon that you're led to, and it was a fucking epic adventure getting there. It was, but that's what Zelda Breath of the Wild was all about, and Tears of the Kingdom is the same thing. Like the travel to somewhere is like almost as good as doing the thing at the end. Like
it's a huge part of the experience, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like it's just they've pulled it off so far. Again, taking me right back to Breath of the Wild. And it's been a very, very long time since I have been excited to turn on a video game and just play it for hours on end. And I'm right back in it. It's bloody good. It's bloody good.
Amazing. So what's been your best moment so far? Was it that intro bit, or did you have a random coincidental one so far?
So I've had the shrines are what I do like is that the creativity is just like it was in Breath of the Wild. Now there are very few games, if any, I can only think of Breath of the Wild as another game that does this, where you are tasked with doing certain things, and I know everyone is saying this about this game, or whatever, but you're tasked with doing certain things in the shrines. You'll have a few tasks to complete, or that you have to make your way through the shrine, and sometimes the solution is just not evident to you, or the solution is like, okay, I should be able to do this, and you can't get it to work, and it's trial and error and all this kind of stuff, and then you'll just try the most bonkers thing, and then it will happen. Or you'll do something which is so blatantly not what they intended, but you'll complete it. And it's like, and the moral of the story there is that there is no way to do this. And that's what I find absolutely masterful about the creation of this game. Like how they have created a game where it's like, well, this is how you could do it, but you could do it 20 other ways. I remember being in Breath of the Wild where I couldn't work out how to get this ball like from one place to another, and so I tried for about 10 minutes to be in the right place so I could like hit it and then just ping it off a surface and then land somewhere else. And I tried for like 10-20 minutes or something, and eventually I got it to work. And I was like, yes, fucking beat it. Like, that is not how anybody is supposed to do this. But you've broken it to make it work. And that's what it's all about. That's what that's what these latest Zelda games are about. The imagination, creativity. If you go on the internet and just see some of the creations people are making, to like transport these little characters that you have to send back to their lost mates and stuff like that. You put on a little fucking ship, send them up. I saw one who he said that you have to like transport this little dude back to his mate across the river or something, and they set up like made this little plane with wings and stuff, and then put rockets on the back and like set it off. But it just so happened to be at night, and it was raining hard, and set off this fucking plane, and it was shooting down towards his mate, and then lightning just struck and just blew it up.
Oh, fantastic.
Just like the game is just it's just wonderful. It's just what the way it makes you feel, and like, it makes you feel clever. Yeah. It genuinely does. It makes you go like, fuck yeah, I worked that shit out. Like, it's just it's great. And that way to that first dungeon that I did this afternoon, like it's a bit of a grind, and I was like, shit, am I gonna make this? Am I gonna make it? Because it's in a cold environment. You need to like heat yourself up, and I was running out of meals to like keep me warm, and I didn't have the right clothing, and it was like, oh shit, this is all going Pete Tong, and I just got there. to like effectively a fast travel point. It's like, Jesus Christ, it has these moments which I can't remember the last game that really had that for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it definitely wasn't Hogwarts.
No, probably not. Hogwarts first 15 hours are good. I'll maintain that.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, look forward to hearing more about this, I guess. I imagine it's going to be your mainstay for at least a couple of weeks.
Yes, and it's one of those. The only issue with this game is that there is so much to do that completing this game seems so far off.
But that's perfect. Yeah. That's the idea.
Like this is a game.
That's a wonderful thing to have.
Yes, when I say problem, what I don't mean is this is an issue of the game. I mean this is a problem because this is a long game that you just dedicate, and you don't care about when you finish it. It's just there.
It's your game. Yes. Excellent. Well, shall we talk about those that were not our games but possibly should have been?
Yes, good link to the feature, Pete.
Yeah. So yes, this feature this week is the franchises we'd like to have tried but never did, or that we should have given more of a chance. And I do honestly think most of them are the latter portion of that, aren't they, with us?
Yes, yeah.
One of the good bits is, I mean, even with me who plays like 4 games 90% of the time, I've tried a lot of games over the years.
Yeah.
Tried a lot and then immediately gone back to Total War. But before that, we've all brought a few here, and I suppose I should start off because I can talk about the best RPG of all time, can't I?
You can. Yes, please do.
Because we all know I've played Pokemon Red and Blue and Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were sort of the remakes, weren't they?
You bloody love them, Pete.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I still play them on my mobile now and again because emulators are wonderful things. But I have literally never tried another Pokemon game outside those. Not once.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the reaction I kind of think of to myself. The moment it goes past the original 151 Pokemon, I'm just like, nah, never mind. And I shouldn't be. And I don't really even know why, except for the fact that I'm obviously not the owner of Nintendo systems generally. But there was a time I had that opportunity, especially when it was things like the Game Boy and the advances on that. And I loved the first one so much that you'd think I'd have given them more of a chance, but I haven't.
Yeah, and I can sympathise with the opinion of once it goes past 150, you're less interested, because also it's familiarisation, isn't it? It's familiarity of those Pokemon, etc. Mm-hmm. And it can seem to get a little bit stupid beyond that, but. Yeah. And we were when we were playing those games, it was accompanied by a TV show and everything, wasn't it? So it's like there was so much about it, but I do like the direction of the new games. The problem with them, and you would fucking hate this, is the difficulty is
this. I think is
stupid.
The bit
It's
that's put me
crap.
off.
Yeah.
Is particularly with things like Let's Go Eevee, which we talked about at the time.
Yeah.
It's too easy. And the first
They
one,
are so easy. Yeah.
the first one, yes, once you'd done the grind, it all became quite easy. But it wasn't unless you did that.
Yes.
And I think maybe it is the min-maxer in me that keeps me away from them, because the moment you give me a game like this, I will try and min-max it.
The thing is, it has the min-maxing because there's competitive Pokemon play.
Yes,
like
exactly.
that is real. And I tried to build a competitive team, and when you realise that you had made one mistake early on, or you got this level 1 Pokemon, I had a this level 1 Pokemon that had been given to me, but I traded and I got, and it had perfect like stats outside. It had these perfect stats going into the game, but I'd made an error early on in my training of it, like leveling up, because it's all to do with EVs and IVs, like the hidden stats behind it all. And so I knew at the very, very, very top level, its speed was going to be 1 or 2 points below. And so it would never win in another battle against the speed Pokemon. It's just like, oh, I've made that mistake. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's it. The divide between the main game and the competitive scene in difficulty is so vast.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You get battered. If you play online, you get fucking battered.
Yeah, you either completely trivialise the main game, or you're not. It's not worth you playing the competitive game. And that's a shame for me, because I would like to play them, but I haven't.
Well, if they get better at the open world stuff, which I don't think they're a million miles away from that being an absolute fucking banging concept. When the Switch 2 comes around, they need to up their game. If they do decide to actually up their game and not just have Pokemon fodder, then could be a treat to get into.
It could get some fucking voice actors as well. But
yes. Yeah.
So,
fucking hell, man.
tone set, gents. Go on, Eddie. You take us on. What's your?
I think the one I've got 3 that I've not played enough of, but I'm going to go with the big one first of all. A franchise that I've always wanted to play is The Last of Us. I have. Don't get me wrong. I've pretty much played the whole game just by watching streams of it. But it's a game that I've always wanted to play, because not only does it look great, but obviously you hear things of it being the best game of all time. So I've always really, really wanted to play it. The problem is, obviously, I don't want to play a PlayStation. I don't want the money associated with having one. So there are options now. Now it's on PC, but again, it's still at ludicrous prices. So I'm sure I will play it at some point in the maybe next year, maybe 2 years.
Distant future.
Yeah. But it's been on my why haven't I played this in the back of my mind for ever since its release. So it's by far number one. As soon as you said this, it's the first thing that came into my mind. I actually had to look up others to refresh my memory. But yeah, Last of Us every day of the week.
I think, and yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you had played through the whole game in videos, because you fought its corner, Last of Us 2, didn't you? You have been someone who's praised these games hugely, and you've never played a minute.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's either I watch loads of streams of it, or I accept that £200 of my hard-earned cash has gone out the window.
Yes, if not more. Yeah. It's
because how much is a PlayStation these days? Fuck me.
A lot.
500?
Still.
Yes. 550?
A significant chunk. Half a grand.
Jesus,
yeah, half a G.
Christ.
Yeah.
Not an insignificant amount.
As a startup cost, yes. Probably cheaper to play on PC.
And Last of Us is probably still 50 quid, I assume.
At the very least, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Maybe 70.
Yeah, I think that's a very good option. And I mean, I also haven't played it. I don't want to, but that's purely because of the zombie thing. I don't honestly know if I'll ever get back to zombie games.
Especially the second game, Pete. Zombies are it's a human story. And you're fighting humans more than zombies for sure. They're very limited in the second game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's almost like The Walking Dead, where as it goes on, the Walking Dead themselves become so much less of a factor.
Yes, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this guy's taking over the city, but there's also some zombies around.
It's because the shock factor of zombies can only last so
that's it.
so long.
That's it. They have to freshen it up, don't they? And new villains are always going to be human. So excellent choices, Ben. What about you?
Well, I just got an email saying that Bus Simulator 2, Bus Simulator 21 was on sale on Steam.
Is that a franchise you've not given the time? Because
no, I have
feel like
actually.
you
I
must
did.
have done.
Bus Simulator 2019 was a particular favourite of mine. Okay. So yeah, maybe I should give it more time. And we're going to get Armored Core in a few months, and that's going to be the first time I'm going to play that game. So, but I won't talk about that. The franchise I've never really played. I played a bit of Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
But I have not played Fallout really.
My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you've not touched New Vegas?
Nope.
Shit.
Not at all.
Hell.
And you didn't touch 4 either?
Nope.
Whoa.
So even the ones past the 1 and 2, I can kind of forgive anyone for not having played, even though they're great.
Yeah. We don't really consider those as
It's
part
a
of
different
the.
kind of game, though.
It's
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Not non-console, everything else. 3, New Vegas, and 4 though are regularly up there as some of the best games.
I'll tell you for why.
Yeah.
Wow.
They look depressing as fuck.
Says a man who plays and loves The Last of Us.
It's a human story, Pete.
So is Fallout, but it's also slightly less grey.
I've got to admit, when I went back to 3, probably 6 months ago, well, everything blends in now. I've got to admit, I did think, I don't remember it being this depressing.
3
It's
is
probably because
so
I've
grey.
played the shit out of 4.
Yeah.
And 4 is good, isn't it? They've blued the sky and stuff, so it is a lot happier.
Well, I think they learnt a bit from New Vegas, didn't they? Because everyone really liked the fact that the desert was still slightly colourful.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas, Washington city centre was just a grey death zone.
Everything was great.
Yeah, 3 just seemed tragically depressing, and
It was an uplifting story about the guy who tried to find his father and then instantly watched him die. Yes,
Spoilers.
It's spoilers for a 20-year-old game almost. No,
Spoilers.
yeah, I suppose I can see your point there, Ben, but you're missing out on a lot.
yeah, I am missing. I've played. I even played the Outer Worlds. So it's not as if I'm averse to this. The reason I am though is because I don't generally go back and play older games. I know everybody says they've got a backlog and all this kind of stuff, and Eddie plays older games because it's your price point and all that kind of stuff. I kind of play games when they come out, and if it doesn't get played at that point, it's unlikely to be given a go.
I agree with you, Ben, and I definitely do that with story game, and you do like a story game, but like the Fallout games to me are forever games. It's like Skyrim, really. Kind of think Skyrim, but in a as you say, depressing world.
But I kind of think the time for Fallout, for like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, I think I can't really go back to poor RPG graphics, and I don't think they look good. That might be being harsh, but I don't want to play them.
Compared to
it is a
the new
series.
generation,
Yes, that's right. And it's a shame because if they brought out the new Fallout, so let's say they bring out Elder Scrolls 6, and then in 25 years they bring out Fallout 5, I'll be all in. I'll be all in.
Okay.
But it's a shame. I should have given it more of a chance. I should have got into it, especially with the games being on Game Pass and all that kind of stuff, but just never get round to it, and it is a shame.
Massively.
It's one of those that I do see your point, Ben, because I'm actually gutted that I didn't play the Stalker games when they came out.
Yeah.
Now, when I downloaded the big mod or whatever it was, I was
Anomaly.
really upset that it was too shit to play without being immersion breaking. So I do see your point.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, those are some pretty heavy franchises we've just listed. Those are big hitters, even amongst us. So,
to be fair, that's the only, my one is the only one that I haven't played any of it of. All my others I've played a couple of them, but I want to play, I don't know why I haven't played a couple more. So that's my defence.
Yeah, I think that's entirely understandable as well. And to be fair, most of like the ones you've put there, I could have put more time into as well. So those obviously were the three biggest ones. Let's give the others a quick rundown as well. So I'd put Monster Hunter in as another, which, truth be told, I have played about half an hour of. And then went, yeah, this is cool, I'll come back to it. And I just never have.
This requires time.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't have that time right now.
Exactly. And it's not the sort of game where I embrace the learning curve as much as I should.
There's so much to it that is just not explained. You have to be prepared to research.
Yeah, and sink time into it. And that moment has just never come with Monster Hunter. I do think it will, particularly as they're making it more and more available everywhere. Yes. But as we move on to it, I should probably say that both of you have Metal Gear on the list, and this is one I could definitely have given more time. I've played.
I didn't know Ben had it on the list. I think it's because he's put Metal Gear Solid and I've put Metal Gear, so I didn't click. Yeah,
but I think this actually must be true for all of us, because I could also have played more easily and probably should have done.
Yeah, I think the only one of us that has played is Kirk loved all the Metal Gears,
but loves it.
Yeah, not something I have ever got behind. I think I probably played the first one on PlayStation back in the day, but I just wasn't something that ever kind of cropped into the mind to play.
The reason why I've got it on this is because I played loads of the first one. And I remember it's quite a core memory of my childhood. And Phantom Pain, when I played that game, I thought, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. I was obsessed with it. Like just everything about it. Like one thing after another came up that made me go, oh my God, this game is better now. Like it even got to a stage where you can manage your staff on the fucking rig. And I was like, sorry, is this game that I already think is the best game ever now a management game on top? My mind was fucking blown. And I'll be honest, I obviously loved it, and I was like, I'm going to play all of them from now on, because why didn't I play 2 and 3 or whatever the stupid names they gave them all? Because after playing Phantom Pain, and then I was like, right, definitely play the next one. And then it was that Survive, and I was like, oh, brilliant, I love that. But then the critics went mental about it.
Yeah, they did,
really
didn't they?
put me off it. So, but again, even now, I look at that game and go, oh, I kind of think I should play that. So, yeah, that's my reason, because I should have played all of these games, but I don't know why I haven't. It's just one of those things.
Eddie, I've not played any of them. I've got Phantom Pain in the cupboard.
Oh, Ben, it is a fantastic game. It's in the desert, Ben. We've already talked about combat in the desert, though.
I think it's probably unopened. I've just got it. It's popped away somewhere.
That's probably a collector's item, no?
I do think it's actually one of the 5 games that I have a physical copy, because I tried to take it back when I was selling all my games and they didn't accept it. So
yeah. I think I bought it I probably bought it for like a $5 or something on an Amazon sale.
Yeah.
Lovely job.
Fantastic. So what others have you got, guys? What else is on your list?
I in the same vein as what I've just said about Metal Gear, Assassin's Creed. Played the shit out of the first one, played the shit out of Black Flag, and then played a little bit of, I think, the one in London, or was it Paris? I don't fucking know. But like every time I watch gameplay of it, I go, this is great. And don't get me wrong, there's always a bit in my brain that goes like, remember, you do find it a bit tedious though, Eddie, after a while. But I know that I enjoy those games when I play them at the beginning.
This is the thing, isn't it? Like, so I played a lot of 1, a lot of 2, 3, and Brotherhood and Unity or whatever it was. The Ezio ones. With him as the main character. Yep. Played all of them. I never touched Black Flag, Never got to it. Even though it's flipping pirates. Yeah, even though it's such a great setting for it.
Yeah.
Never got that far. And it's because after that storyline completed for Ezio as the main character, I just kind of, every time I saw one, I went, it's the same game. Like...
Yeah.
It's the Ubisoft problem, if ever there was one, It's like, I know exactly what it is.
I think that's the thing that keeps on... I think that's the thing that keeps on making... Like, to put it in an example, I've downloaded Odyssey twice.
Yeah.
And uninstalled it twice without touching it. Because it's always that thing of, I'll go through a day and I'll go, oh, fuck, that's on Game Pass. Oh, I'll download that, I'll play that. And then I kind of look at it and I do a little bit of research and go, oh, it's the same. But it's annoying because every time I've played an Assassin's Creed, I have enjoyed it for about 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then, granted, it's gotten tedious. But so this is why it's on this list for me, because I should give it more of a chance.
Yes, I think you definitely should. A very fair statement. What about you, Ben?
I think we all probably know my objective as a gamer, my long-term objective is to find a forever game.
Yeah.
When I find that forever game, sadly the podcast is over.
Yes.
It's all the objective is complete.
Yes.
And that's all I play. I just want one game. I just want one game. That is the game that I play. That's my forever game. And I haven't actually put it on this list here, but things like World of Warcraft, things like Star Wars, The Old Republic, Final Fantasy XIV, like all of these types of games, I have missed. I feel like I've missed the boat on, and I could have settled in on. I don't actually, as much as I play all new games and all that, I don't actually need that. My sole objective is just to find one game.
Yeah.
It's funny, Ben.
Failing at this for your entire
It's
adult
funny,
life,
Ben,
but yes.
because your mission is to do it and then the podcast dies, but I was playing RimWorld forever, and then you made this podcast and it stopped me playing it forever. Now I have to play a different game every week. So
Yeah. Well, that's on you, buddy.
You could just do what I do, Eddie, and leave Ben out on a limb doing what we've been playing. But
there you go. Yeah.
But that's all this quest is for. It's that my whole reason for playing video games is just to find the one game.
Whatever
Right,
else does
to
on
learn how
dating
to
apps, Ben is doing.
I admire people that have their 1, 2, or 3 games that they just play all the time. Like I admire that, because you don't want for much. You just that's it. You've already got it. But so any of these franchises that could offer that, that's what I should be giving a try. But I need to get in at ground zero. That's my main thing. Even like Diablo 4 coming out, it's got MMO aspects to it. Essentially, it's still the same Diablo that I know and love. I'm hoping that will be something that I might be able to turn into, because I've been playing Diablo 3 a lot. It's just so easy to just continue playing, but a bit more of a purpose with the new one and that type of thing. I don't know. I'm just forever on that quest. So, and then on that kind of note, if that had to be a single player game, maybe that would be RimWorld for me.
Oh, it'd be a fine choice. It would be a fine choice.
It would be a fine choice. In fact, I even I turned it to, I updated all the mods and downloaded it onto my laptop because, and don't tell the missus this, she wants to go camping soon, but I'm gonna take my little laptop, play some offline RimWorld in the tent.
Lovely. Oh, that's not going to be what she was expecting.
I may return single.
You may not even return.
There you go.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, if anyone wanted to let us know their franchise they should have played, how would they do so then?
Yes, please do let us know, because that'll trigger some for us as well, where we probably haven't played either.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, you might.
Yeah.
You might, if you want this podcast to end, just tell us any type of forever game that
I
could
might
be.
put in some fucking games now.
So I've got a few from Christopher here and a few from Eddie.
Handsome 1988.
Yes, so you can email us podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk, and you can tweet us at grumpygamerspod.
Fantastic. But for this week, it is GG.
GG.
Sorry?
Mixing up the order, baby.
GG.